WRVA, the voice of Virginia. All right, it's 8:04 this morning on Richmond's Morning News. It's News Radio WRVA. Thanks for joining us. Back from my vacation. Appreciate Gary for filling in. Super Dave as well. All the great guests that we have. But back to work is, wow, I can't believe it's already end of July, beginning of August. NFL training camps have started. College football's right around the corner. It's going to start cooling down. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Although, was I 2 Sundays ago, I was at church, and the Monsignor that was filling in over St. Mary's said that, you remember when we had the ice storms and the snow and everything else, and we were just hoping and praying one day we'll get warm weather. Well, now you got to stop complaining, because before you know it, we're going to get back to the ice and the snow and the sleet and everything else in the winter. But it's that time where you start thinking of the fall, the leaves changing, which means now I got to start raking leaves up again. Or football will be here before you know it. UVA, Virginia Tech, ACC football will be here before you know it. We'll start getting ready for preseason football, fantasy football, and all the rest. So we're getting there. It's almost end of July, beginning of August as we start watching the clock turn. Okay. We've got Richmond's Morning News Brief for you coming up. And then I do want to talk a little bit about the vacation I had. I'm just going to tell you, because I didn't grow up in Central Virginia and I didn't grow up on the East Coast, all of these places are just brand new to me. So David Duncan's going to join us this hour for the American Battlefield Trust. Now, I will admit I am a history nerd and I do watch their videos on YouTube. But they have a program where they've taken a bunch of school kids and basically did what I did on vacation, which is visit these amazing day trips, not even day trips, maybe an hour to get to Yorktown for a lot of our listening audience. And if you've never done these things, they're simply amazing. We'll talk to him coming up here in just a little bit. Before we do that, let's get to Richmond's Morning News Brief. Here are the big stories we're working on. Again, we'll remind you, either you'll wake up with Richmond's Morning News or you'll just play catch up the rest of your day. So, story number one, bad storm hit RVA yesterday, so be careful this morning driving around. Still plenty of debris in the streets.
Number one.
All right, so last night, maybe I slept through it. I heard the thunderstorms and saw the lightning flash outside my window. But when I got up to go to work this morning, there was a downed tree on my way in. So again, just be careful as you're going. The people are cleaning off the streets, trying to clean it up, but just there was some flooding this morning. I'm just warning everybody, just be a little extra careful today after all the storms, and you still could have debris falling out that just hadn't hit the ground yet, just kind of waiting to fall out of the trees. So just be careful getting around this morning after the storms last night. Story number two. So right now we have a pause, not a ceasefire, but a pause in the aggressions between Iran and the United States. Here's the latest from Fox News.
Number two.
America's UN Ambassador Mike Waltz said the U.S. can continue its air assault on Iran, but will negotiate if Iran comes to the table. On Fox's Sunday Morning Futures, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he sees this ending in a couple of ways.
When this regime is either toppled or it's sufficiently weakened that it knows it has to end its nuclear program and has to change its course. That's really what President Trump is trying to achieve.
Netanyahu said the end of the war can happen with or without a deal. A Fox News poll last week showed nearly half of voters feel a deal with Iran will not be made. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
All right, that's the latest from Fox News, that right now they're kind of in a pause, kind of looking over at the other side. Now, I will tell you this. One of the things that's going on is you have different groups in the Middle East. You have Pakistan and Oman, and they are trying to figure out how to bring this to a halt, how to stop this, how to get both sides to the table. So they continue to negotiate, and it looks like there's more sunshine, light at the end of the tunnel with the negotiation. So both sides says, okay, let's pause for just a second. But the way I look at it, three things can happen. The U.S. surrenders and just goes away, and Iran is emboldened in the Middle East. They control the Strait of Hormuz, which, by the way, they always have threatened the Strait of Hormuz. All these people are, hey, the Strait of Hormuz was open before Trump started all this. I was while we were away on vacation, I was reading General Mattis's book, and he talked about in his book years ago how they threatened the Strait of Hormuz. They've constantly been threatening the Strait of Hormuz. It's not because Donald Trump went in there. They've constantly gone through and threatened ships going through there. It's one of the pressure points they have in the rest of the world to claim power. So to say that this is all Trump's fault, the strait has been closed, no, they've been threatening it way before Donald Trump ever came into office. So either one of three things can happen. You either give up and let Iran control the Strait of Hormuz and continue to try to build a nuclear weapon. Number two is you can try to negotiate with them, even though it doesn't seem like they're going to hold up their end of the bargain, or you win this thing. Those are the three options the president is facing right now. And I'll be honest, there's a reason why Donald Trump's the only one that had the guts to tackle this, because you're kind of in a Kobayashi Maru. Do you know what that is, Super Dave?
The no-win situation.
From Star Trek.
From Star Trek,
Were you
yeah.
impressed with that?
I'm always impressed.
Thank you. Well, Comic-Con was this weekend in San Diego.
You sure you weren't there?
No, I went to Comic-Con a couple years ago. Riggs and I were standing there. My son, we were standing there in line talking, and then there were some nerds in front of us and nerds behind us, and they had the same conversation. He looked over at me and goes, "Oh my gosh, we're nerds."
Well, yeah. I could have told you that. You didn't have to go to Comic-Con. I could have told you that.
I'm just saying. Anyway, the Kobayashi Maru is what Donald Trump's facing right now. And you have so many people in the War Powers Act. Let's just stop right now. What you stop right now? Do you want to see Iran control the Strait of Hormuz? And do you want to see Iran get a nuke? That's the question I think you have to ask. And if not, then what do you do? Because just saying, let's just stop this right now, serves no purpose other than you get a victory and Donald Trump gets a loss. All right, story number 3. Hey, congratulations, Virginia. We're going to get more political ads on TV.
Number 3.
So it's so interesting watching the Democratic Party fold themselves into pretzels on a daily basis, just trying to figure out how can we stop Donald Trump. We'll do everything we can. For the folks that want to stand up for democracy, they kind of make me shake my head sometimes when they anoint leaders. They run somebody for president who didn't get a single vote in the primaries, and then they move the primaries, manipulate them. Well, now they're going to manipulate their primaries once again. You know, Virginia was always part of Super Tuesday, where you get all the big day of voting. Well, Virginia Democrats don't want to be part of Super Tuesday. They want their own day, and now they have it. So what does this mean for you? Well, guess what? Virginia will be a set-aside alone, having its own primary, not part of Super Tuesday, which means more money is going to be spent here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, meaning more TV ads. More TV ads, more money being spent here, a bigger focus on the Commonwealth, but, you know, the good and the bad. You'll see everybody walk through. I have a friend of mine who lives in New Hampshire and says, "Hey, what'd you think of that presidential candidate?" I don't know. I've only met him 2 or 3 times. We might get the same thing here in Virginia, probably not as much as Iowa or New Hampshire, but, oh, they're coming. Oh, are they coming? And guess what? You're going to get even more political TV ads, which I know everybody can't wait to see. Shake my head. All right, story number 4. I got a new one for you. Cracker Barrel has decided that I was right, they were wrong, and the comeback continues. That's our 4th story of the morning.
Number 4.
All right, Cracker Barrel. You remember about last summer, like a year ago, I did a video, put it up, because the Ashland Cracker Barrel was part of the new Cracker Barrel, where they're going to make it over to make it look more like a modern, not Cracker Barrel, middle of America, I want my grits and my bacon type of place. And then the people fought back about it, and Cracker Barrel almost tanked. Well, now they've seen the error of their ways, and they've announced over the last few days they're actually going to sell off some of their assets that they were trying to lean away from the old Cracker Barrel that you and I love and go back and re-embrace what middle America loves. So I didn't know this. They own, what's it called? Great Maple or Maple Biscuit or something like that. Maple Street Biscuit Company. You ever had that, Dave?
No, I've never heard of it.
There's one I think it's on the West End, right across from the Short Pump Mall. Not that far away from you and I. It's pretty good. It's counter service. I've gone in there and ate a bacon biscuit with, I think I a chicken tender on it for breakfast one day. They have grits.
1 minute.
It's pretty good. Anyway, they're going to sell that whole chain off and just go back to concentrating on what made Cracker Barrel great. I applaud you. That's why I keep saying this. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I'll say it with my last dying breath. Our voices matter. You've been sold this bill of goods that your voice doesn't matter anymore. It does. This is another perfect example. Cracker Barrel was going to go woke, and they decided they didn't want to go broke because they heard from you. Our voices matter. We just need to start using them again. Anyway, that's Richmond's Morning News Brief for today. All right, coming up on the program. When's the last time you went on one of those trips you went on in the 6th grade where you went to Appomattox Courthouse? Remember, Dave, do you remember those kids' field trips you go and you had to buy a soda and you had to wrap it in tinfoil and then freeze it overnight so you had a nice cold soda the next day?
Yeah, it would explode after sitting in the freezer for all night.
You remember how exciting that was?
Yeah.
It was like the anticipation of going on that field trip. Everybody's got to pack a lunch and you got to bring a frozen soda with you. It's one of those things that you have when you were a kid growing up. Well, when's the last time you went on one of those trips? I did on my vacation. We're going to talk about that with someone from the American Battlefield Trust. We have so many great vacation spots, just a day trip, a Saturday trip, a Sunday trip. We'll do that next year on News Radio WRVA.